back. I had a nice interview today that I will share with some people earlier in the week, next week, with a co-founder of a bats company, but that's not what we're here for. The Rangers traded for MacKenzie Gore, and that was the last player that the Yankees had interest in. With the three starting pitchers, Edwin Cabrera, Cubs, Yankees tried. Freddie Peralta, Mets, Yankees tried. Mackenzie Gore, Rangers, Yankees tried. So you look at all this stuff and you wonder where does it leave them now? They get Ryan Weathers. I mean, like I've mentioned, he has some upside. There is some ability, but there's so many durability questions and concerns. You don't even know how healthy the guy's gonna be, and that's a massive, massive problem. So we'll have to see how that goes. Like I want to get into this Gore deal. It's very interesting. Somebody kind of put up a comp that I found interesting as well, going through that trade a little bit. But from the Yankees standpoint, I would not have liked the trade from a Yankees standpoint for Mackenzie Gore. Like we mentioned this a million times, he was definitely the third option of what I wanted the Yankees to do of those three. Even Edwin Cabrera would have been two, Peralta would have been one. So now let me see if that screenshot of the trade. So here we go. And the Rangers was such a random team too. And Robert Murray, who is definitely one of my favorite reporters for good reason. And let me get this background back. Yeah, we'll try this one today. So here's what the trade looks like. It's gonna be Mackenzie Gore for put myself on the side. It's gonna be Mackenzie Gore for Gavin Fein, and Fein is a guy who definitely is the crown jewel of this trade. He was a 12th pick in the draft last year, and he might be a first baseman more than a third baseman, but definitely a talented guy. And the Nationals went for quantity over quality here. There was no Leiter, there was no Kumar Rocker, no Sebastian Walcott, like none of that stuff. And then what makes this trade even worse, I just found out, is that Rosario is actually getting Tommy John surgery. So that's another issue, and he's their sixth ranked prospect. So I mean, that's not great. And then their 12th ranked prospect infielder Devin Fitzgerald, outfielder Yeremy Cabrera ranked 16th for the Rangers, and you have this first baseman slash outfielder that ranks like looks like 18th. So the BTV site actually didn't like it for the Nationals because they kind of got undervalued from that. It was like a 30 to a 44. But like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that because Mackenzie Gore to me is very volatile. Like, I don't know if his value is as high as that site says, honestly. I mean, it has the potential to be, absolutely, but it hasn't fully put itself together. Like, Mackenzie Gore is a guy that could literally go out there and strike out 10 to 15 batters on any given day, and he can also go out there and give up 3 or 4 bombs, walk 3 or 4, and give up like 6 to 8 runs on any given day. Like that's how wide his range is. It's absolutely nuts. Now, could the Rangers fix him a little bit? He's gonna get a chance to work with Degrom. Obviously, he's gonna get the chance to work with Eovaldi. I mean, that in itself, and even Chris Young a little bit. If you think about it, although Young didn't throw as hard as Mackenzie Gore, actually he might have been righty, but there was some similarities, both tall pitchers, I guess. But I mean, look, the Yankees are kind of up the creek of the ladder right now in terms of like pitching additions. And yeah, my bad, Matt. Chris Young, righty, but I don't think Mackenzie Gore was a huge whiff for the Yankees, but I do think a lot of other stuff that took place was a big whiff. But Peralta, like I said the other night, it's very tough to try to say that it's very tough to try to say like that the Yankees could have acquired him just because of like how difficult it is. You know what like the Mets gave, and the Yankees don't have the prospect depth the Mets do. Like they just don't, unfortunately. But at the same time, you would have definitely liked to see them give it a better go, maybe. But not much you could do there. I mean, sometimes you just get beat, and you just gotta live with that. I mean, look, the situation at hand here is that the Yankees are not really getting better this offseason. They're flatlining. Like, they are very satisfied. They think the team is better than most people think it is. That's just, I get it, because, like, that's their organizational thing. And I am going to be able to get some of these tweets up. Like, I know there's definitely a couple things now that we'll get to. But there was someone who wanted to ask me about Rasmussen and Nicodolo. Um, so I do like we have talks about them. We're definitely interested in Wazolo. Rasmussen is a little iffy for me because the injury history and everything else. So I mean, you could try to do it, but at the same time, it's just not like fully ideal because he could. But again, like I've said, they don't need someone to fill like it's 175 to 200 innings. They probably need someone to fill more like 100 to like 115 maybe. So that's kind of how I would look at that situation. But at the same time, um, I would say like it's just not like it's not really the pitching that's the problem for the Yankees in my eyes. To me, it's like the same thing I've said for a while, and I just don't know how people just magically expect things to get better in October. Like this has happened year and year again. Like the Yankees will have great regular season numbers. They'll do their thing, and then when October comes, they just don't get it done, and it happens all every single year. And you can't just keep saying it's a fluke because it's not. And running back the same lineup just makes me think that they just think they're better than they are, obviously. And I don't see it. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it's possible. Never going to be 100% correct. So maybe I'm not seeing it the way that they're seeing it. Clearly, I'm not because they would be doing much different stuff. But again, at the same time, like, it's definitely a situation that is frustrating from a standpoint of if you want to see them try to improve, if you do want to see them try to hoist the World Series trophy and everything like that. It's just like it doesn't seem like there's anything like I don't see any positive momentum towards them going towards the World Series based off this offseason. Let's just put it that way. Like I think that's a very fair statement. And if people want to push back, they could, but I don't think there's anything like what has been a positive thing that's happened. Ryan Weathers is not enough. Cody Bellinger coming back is the same. The Dodgers have gone significantly better. They added the best hitter and the best closer on the market, and they already were the best team. So where does that leave everyone else? Even the Mets, who closed the gap a lot the past few days, and I'll do some more Mets stuff as we get forward in this episode a little bit. But I'm trying to focus on a few other things right now, like more towards this Yankees Rangers. So like, let me see the Rangers projected rotation. Okay, I like this. I like these questions a little bit. I'm gonna put this in the chat, Death Star Alarm. Hopefully you're watching. I think you might be. So I will go through this now. Yeah, no, spitballing is all I'm doing too. Honestly, like I don't have anything definitive right now, but let's put that image up and then we'll go through it. It's like I couldn't get much this off season, unfortunately. Like from the Yankees standpoint, really was not a great off season. I mean, honestly, 'cause there was nothing like too crazy. It was all like the same stuff, like re-signing players. Like, and the weather's thing really was a bomb out of nowhere. I mean, I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm always gonna do that, but like it's some this off season's been challenging for sure. But sometimes you just gotta go with the punches and see what comes. Like eventually something's gonna come, but we'll have to see. Yeah, they signed Luciano too. All right. Do you think the Yankees will get another pitcher and hitter before the off season all said and done? Um. Okay. So This is definitely a valid question. Thank you for asking it. And I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna do a two for one here, I guess. So Zed Star Alarm DSA is thinking about some pitching names, so this kind of goes with you. And then the hitting is really, really tricky right now. Um, if I was gonna say for these names, and it's DSA Alarm on Twitter. Shout out to Cameron on Twitter too. Thank you for hopping in and asking the question. Zandy could be. I think he's only owed $2.1 million. So let me see here. But wait, this doesn't even make sense. Whatever. So if I go through this, it's like Pavetta is like an interesting one because the Padres are in such a weird spot. I don't know, but the Yankees and Padres have done deals in the past, so I wouldn't discount that. Brady Singer, yeah, that's been floated a little bit, and I think if anyone gets traded off the Reds pitching staff, it's him. I don't know if they'd be as inclined to trade Lozzola. I feel like that's more of like a fan thing that's being created than an actual substance of smoke thing. But I know the Reds have said they'd be open to trading certain rotational arms, but Lozzola would actually be well, the best one on here is obviously Reagan's, but that's really close to impossible for the Yankees to do because that cost is going to be more than Peralta, Gore, and Cabrera. So Libertor is an interesting one. I would not be opposed to that. That would be a nice. It's almost like a weather situation. Because Libertor has been durable. He just hasn't had the performance. And then Rasmussen, like I mentioned, there's a lot of questions with Rasmussen. Like I think I'll actually pass on him personally. I do like him when he's healthy, but there's too many other things. And like he also doesn't get strikeouts. I don't really like that too much. So that's definitely something that I'm looking through. I'm gonna see this YouTube thing was acting up on me, so I just want to make sure no one was in there asking questions and I couldn't get to them. So I hope that it's all like piecing itself together. But now, in terms of a hitter, that's such a complicated question, and I wish I could give you a better answer. And I've been trying so hard to like think about possible hitters they could target, and I just keep coming up blank. Like I think they blew it, honestly. I really do because like how, who, and what. Okay, Sanzi maybe. Oh, that's what you were saying about the pitching. I mean, I think we brought this up yesterday. Um, I don't know if the Marlins will deal him and Cabrera. It kind of felt like a one on the Boom Post game on Twitter. It kind of felt like a one for two. Like it wasn't going to be both. Like it might just be one. And the problem is, I still think the Marlins have Sanzi at a value that's too high, and it's not matching up with like how other teams are viewing him. So I don't know honestly about him still. And the Marlins, remember, like they're not trying to tear it down. They really just traded Cabrera. Like they are trying to compete right now, and I do think like there's definitely some substance to like the Marlins competing. I really do think that they could end up figuring it out a little bit. Just because like you saw the way they finished the season last year, you saw the way that they had all that hype in the stadium for the first time in a while. Like people are a little getting excited for the Marlins again, kind of. So I don't know if that's necessarily the route they're gonna go. I really don't. But if that's what they want to do, I mean, they definitely could. It's just like a different. It's just like a different mindset, honestly. Like if they're gonna compete or not compete or whatever. But that's like my long-winded answer to that. In terms of hitting, like I gotta get creative because like where would they put the hitter? That's the problem. Like I definitely understand the need and want for one, and I would prefer they add a bat somehow too. I just don't know how it happens. Like think about it. Bichette was maybe a shot. They didn't do it. Tucker, they weren't interested. They went for Bellinger instead, so they didn't go that direction. And then you look at the situation with like I'm trying to think who else was in there. I mean, Wilson Contreras, they weren't even close. Like all those righty platoon didn't even try. All those righty platoon bats that like everyone keeps thinking of, like they didn't really show the interest in. Like I know people are also floating around the idea of bringing Hayes and Bader in still, and then if that happens, what do you do with Dominguez and Jones? Like, why are they getting traded and what are they getting traded for? Like, I do, and I have said this for a while, and I'll still stick by it, and I have to just be honest. Like, both players here, it's just like a situation that, like, they're kinds of both in no man lands on. They're kinds of both in no man's land, honestly, because Dominguez still can't play every day, and probably is going to end up getting platoons against lefties again. So how is he going to improve if they just keep doing that? I don't know because like you don't want him to be a platoon player forever, obviously. But then Spencer Jones is also stuck between the rock and the hard place because how much longer are you going to keep him in AAA? His value's not going to get better that much because he had a great season in AAA last year. The only way his value gets better is if you bring him up to the show and he starts hitting nukes. But they don't have any room for him now. The only thing that's very interesting here is that like some people think that Jones has an edge over Dominguez because Jones is can also play center, but I don't know how much I necessarily buy into that. Just because the fact is like Bellinger's here now and he could be the backup center fielder. He's back. So why does it have to be Jones? Like and then Bellinger's also the backup first baseman. So like is there a spot there was one guy we talked about yesterday that might make some sense. It's Reese Hoskins, I think. That's the only guy I could think of that makes sense, honestly, right now. Because you can't add another outfielder and clutter this thing more. There's nowhere else to really add anyone unless you're going to trade someone I'm not expecting. So I'm not really sure what to say. I don't really have a great bad answer, unfortunately. And then the pitching's like very finicky. Like, do they go for a Bassett? Do they go for do I try a Giolito type deal? Like, I don't know, but it's definitely something worth looking into. So let me try to look through a couple other things here. Like, so the Red Sox are looking into some stuff with Paredes, and I think I've also heard a rumor that Brendan Donovan could be on the block. Well, not could be. I'm sorry, he is on the block, but that a trade could be happening sooner rather than later with Brendan Donovan potentially. So that's something that I'm looking at closely right now. With all the way these trades have been going, I need to see like how this is going to progress. But um, I definitely think Donovan is a dude that it would have been a Yankees fit if they hadn't gone and got Bellinger and like maybe opens up some room somewhere else. But I don't see any fit for Brendan Donovan on the Yankees right now. Although something that has did come up, and I'm gonna go through something here. Actually, a couple of different things. Okay, is that another question? Let's see. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it, brother. I'm just hanging out, Third live in a row. I really wasn't expecting one today, but MacKenzie Gore got traded, and I've kind of wanted to talk through some more situations as like I've reflected on more stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I just think like it's tough to say exactly like which player they should have grabbed because like this offseason has been such a strange one. But like I just don't like the approach of being so content and hung up on Bellinger, top priority, like wasting almost 2 months plus now. Actually more than that, but close enough, and just not doing much of anything else. I mean, that's not why I didn't get Peralta. I get it. I don't think Mackenzie Gore was worth trading for either, honestly. But there is a few other things I'm trying to look into here. So let me see how this is all gonna go, and then we'll figure this out. So this is how we're going now. Let me get this caption back and see how we're looking. All right. So YouTube comments I think are working. I don't. That's great. Let me see. I think I'm getting some stuff on Twitter too. Maybe that can answer. I don't know what they want in return. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't. Okay, but I do think like that there could be. I feel like I don't know. I almost want to say like there's something unexpected brewing, maybe, but I don't. That the confidence level that I have in that is an all time low because like I literally think about these scenarios daily. Like on the off season, this is what I do. Like I play the what if game every single day, and I think about every team, every player, and like it's just not matching up like anything right now. And I hate using that because that's what they use, but like I can't really think of anything unless it's really something unforeseen, unless it's just minor stuff like patchwork. Like I do want to go through um, Chris Bassett a little bit. I think that could be a good fit, like I mentioned, just because the starting and relieving, the AL East experience. I know he's a vet, 1 year deal. He's the guy you want in October. He can help some of the younger guys too, like Garrett to Will. And it's just a thing that like you want to get some security there. Like that's like the best way to put it. And he could be Ryan Weathers is a very risky proposition. That is not that much of depth because Ryan Weathers can go very very quickly. And so like here's this thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna go through an article by a couple different people. Rosenthal also was talking up the possibility of Carson Bench being the starter, like Will Salmon too. And and the Yankees also signed Luciano to a minor league deal. Has a 590 OPS. He's played second. He's played short. I remember when he was a big time shortstop prospect with the Giants, 800 OPS in the minors, but he just never really figured it out. Injuries and effectiveness and whatnot. So um, I would say like it's definitely a situation of like frustration because they've grabbed a few of these types of bats, but it's just I feel like I just don't I just can't get over the fact that like they just really think that same team that got Flans in October is going to figure it out this time magically when that most guys are a year older. Yes, you'll have some guys younger like I talked to one of my friends about obviously and a few different people, but at the same time you got to think like when does it change? Like Jabba said, like you keep doing the same thing over and over again. Like when is it supposed to change? Like I don't know, honestly. I really don't. But really it's just it's upsetting just cuz like you want to see something different. Like you want to see something that is going to result in winning because going to the World Series was their best look in the last 16. But the thing is like you can't they will take solace in it because you know they don't think the same way as they used to. But like, it's so hard to even take solace in that World Series because of how embarrassing it was. Like, who has pride from making that World Series? And think about it. They went through the weakest part to get there. Like, they went through the the Royals and Guardians. Like, come on, like that's nothing compared for what the Yankees are capable of. Like that's and they had Soto obviously, but so I mean, look, they have not come close to replacing Soto still. So it's honestly like very annoying, but like they should honestly just like Bellinger is just not like gonna be worth what he's being paid. I think I just see like it's hard for me to see him holding up for that long for 5 years. Like I said, I've never been claimed to be perfect, but like I just don't love the deal. I know a lot of people think it's a win for the Yankees, but like who else was in the market for Bellinger? Who was even going to come close to that offer the Yankees gave him? That's why I would argue that it's a win for Bellinger, especially because the opt outs too after 2 and 3, which he's obviously done before. But it's not like the best situation. Let me see what else is going on out here. Let me regroup for a minute. I mean, look, it's just the type of thing that like you're gonna want to have a better standing of, you know. It's like what do you like? What's the best case scenario for the Yankees this year? I don't like an ALCS or World Series trouncing by the Dodgers, or is it a DS exit by the Red Sox by the Blue Jays again, and then you go into the lockout with the Dodgers three-peating? Like, is that how this is gonna go down? Honestly, it's like that's not what it should be. That it just shouldn't. It just should not like be that. But um, that's like how they've said it. All right, here we go. Jordan Blackwell, what's up? As much as I like Bellinger, but he's a support piece at best. They just have a consistent high nucleus level around Judge, which is egregious with the payroll they have. Yeah, this is basically what I'm saying. Like I mentioned yesterday, the one guy that I think has the potential to be the second bat. It's not Bellinger's not should not be the second best hitter on a team. I don't think that's gonna win a World Series. He should be like a three, four, five. From the Dodgers would be like six, but the Yankees are far from the Dodgers. Obviously, I get it, but at the same time, like you gotta understand, it's just like he needs that Robin. That's what I've been trying to stress ever since Soto left, and it's not Bellinger. Like he looked good for the regular season, but like when the moments come up in October, that's not. And I know Tucker's struggling in the playoffs too. I get it, but this is exactly where I'm at right now. This is the best point, and that's why I wanted Bichette too, because I felt like he would have been a better supplementary piece with all the lefties that the Yankees have. And you saw what Bichette did in the postseason last year with that tank off Otani, and the Mets get him, and that's why I think it's a good deal for them. But like the defense is clunky, yeah, I know, but like um, it's just like it's annoying. I mean, look, but and when you try to search for that second bat now, with Bellinger coming back, like it's not there. I think Jazz has the potential to be that guy just because like the stolen bases. Like if he could just cut the K's and walk a little bit more, swing up some better pitches a little bit, and be more disciplined in his approach, like I think Jazz could actually be the second bat because his numbers since he's been in the Yankees has been very very good. I mean, well, honestly, like he's been excellent. So I think it's just he also has to play better in October. I get it. Like the Yankees don't have those October players. That's the thing. Like I've talked about this. Like they just don't. I mean, Gleyber Torres was actually a good October player, and they let him go. So there you go. Giancarlo, when he's healthy, besides last year, is the only good October player with a big when is healthy caveat thing is a problem. You can't rely on Giancarlo to be Aaron Judge's protection. It just can't. Bellinger, to me, is not that dude either, honestly. But again, maybe I'm wrong and he does better than I think. Like, if he puts up the regular season he did last year, I'd be happy, obviously. Like, but again, it's all about October. And I don't have any, I mean, I guess there's no assurances of anyone in October. Like, you never know what could happen in October, clearly, but it's really frustrating stuff, honestly. Like, that's kinds of where I'm at. Like, it's like, when is like something gonna change to make them do something different? I don't know. I really don't. So, and then you look at the division around them. Every team is getting better. You can make the case. I mean, just because Garrett Cole's coming back in June, does that mean you're better automatically? No. You don't know what he's going to look like. Like, I know he's good and I think he should be fine to the most point, but you don't know. He's older and he's having Tommy John. Like, I know Verlander did it. and he came back. And I know Cole's a great worker, and he's not going to take any days off in his recovery. He's going to do all the right steps to make sure he's perfect. But you don't know how the body's going to respond when you never had it before. Cam Slittler, first full year, I think will help him a lot. Um, Grisham, I know some people are sworn on like metrics like him to keep it up. We still got to see it to believe it. Bellinger, like I see regression next year. I really do, because he was in a contract year. You know how that always goes. And then I want Dominguez to get a chance if he's here still, but the issue is if he's there still. But like the issue is I don't know how it's going to come together. Well, Stan will get hurt, so I guess that'll fix it whenever he goes down, whatever injury he sustains. But and then Spencer is up in the air. But like I said, they got to deal with it, and you still have like a lot of good pitching in the minors. It's kind of blocked. So like I get the reasoning of like not frantically needing a starting pitcher. I don't think that's their biggest issue. I think they should enhance an area of strength. That's why I want them to do that. But they don't seem like they're gonna get the big fish in that area. And the bullpen is being very underlooked. Okay. I still like them not getting heavily involved with Machado, Harper, Seager, Freeman, etc., as well as the trade options like Lindor. I still feel like them not getting involved heavily with Machado, Harper, Seager, Freeman, etc., as well as the trade options like Lindor and Olson set them back. I get not being able to sign all of them, but they couldn't get at least one or two of them. That's a great point, honestly. Yeah, obviously, I agree with you 100%. I never said all of them. I mean, if you think about it, you really could have flexed and got Machado and Harper, and then really been set for a while. Machado and Harper are massive whiffs. They're very equal footing because Andujar at third did not turn out great, and their third base situation has been an abject disaster for a while. Manny Machado would have solved that completely. Bryce Harper, they had six outfielders. One of them was Jacoby Ellsbury. The other one was Aaron Hicks. The other one was Brett Gardner, who was best about done. Clint Frazier, who they didn't know what he was going to be. Then it was Judge and then Stanton. I mean, but who in that list besides Stanton at the time, maybe, and Judge, would you say was better than Harper? Nobody, obviously. Seager's a huge one because that was one that they could have. It was just money, and those three are all just money. But Seager to me was a glaring one just because, like, you still could have had Volpe and Seager together because at the time when this deal was done or getting done or whatever, Seager was not a good defensive shortstop. Okay, like there was a lot of talk about him changing positions, and the Yankees could have flexed around the diamond, and they really could have just like put them both together still if they wanted to. I really do think that. Like, I don't. It wouldn't have had to be one or the other. But like again, obviously in hindsight, that was a massive mistake. Even saying that you were going to pass on all those shortstops for him, but you still could have been more creative and found a way to make things happen. And they just got stuck in their ways. They just got stubborn. Like they just think their way is the right way, and that they're going to figure it out how they want to do it. Like sorry about that. Like with their analytics and like all their theories and like how they think it looks on the paper and the boards and everything. Like it's just like it's embarrassing how it's become. Honestly, that's what it is. Like it's so far away from like what it used to be and like what it is now. And that's not just like the George and Hal stuff. Like there's more to it too. Like they're not. That's not the only thing. Like everyone in the organization just reeks of complacency to me. Honestly, like that's what it is to me. Like they say they're upset, they say they're mad, but they don't do anything differently about it. Like what? Like show me something that makes me think. And they haven't really. Yes, they've tried stuff. I get it. Like last offseason, they got a lot of stuff, but that was only because they lost Soto. If they had gotten Soto, there would not have been much else. But maybe Free would have still came because I know it's been debated, but I heard it was still possible. But who knows? Um, so, But I mean, it's just been a great. It's just like when is enough enough? I think there's I got a ping or a message or something. But okay, now Lindor, I might say is like that one's trickier because it's a trade, and I don't even think the Yankees were involved there. And at the time of the Lindor trade, I have to think what was going on with the Yankees because it wasn't like the same time when the free agents came about. I think that was before the weird 2020 season, if I'm correct. And what was the shortstop situation then? Like that was like a grill. So that year was like a gray area to me. Like Didi was gone. Um, Volpe wasn't a thing yet, but Olsen was a huge one. That was massive. Freddie Freeman, I won't. I will say I'll push back on because I don't think Freddie wants to be a Yankee. But at the same time, like they just they just like don't have that urgency you would want them to. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I that's it sums it up pretty well. Like I agree with most of the names on this list. Let me try to see what was going on in 2020. Sorry, I try my best to forget that year because that was like definitely one of the worst years of my life, probably well everyone's life. But like it kind of did help me set the groundwork for this stuff. But at the time, you didn't know what it was gonna do, so it was terrible. And not going to a baseball game in a year is probably pretty awful for me. And yeah, I skipped football this year because my teams were trash, and that's easier. And that was still tough to do, but like definitely not as tough to do. Baseball was brutal in 2020, not being able to go to a game or cover a game or anything. But like, although that time it wasn't media yet, but you know what I mean. But I'm trying to look. I want to see the roster in 2020, like what is going on there. But let me check what this is. So Facebook. No, I'm trying to get it off Facebook, but like the video on there. Yeah, I do remember now because like I know Frankie Lindor was still on the Mets and on the Indians in 2019. Shortstop was weird then. Like, why do I not know? Like, the Gio was a third. Okay. Oh, Glaber was like kind of in between second and short, maybe, but it's not giving me the right thing still. Damn it. I'll figure it out though, cause like the only ones I don't agree with out of these names is Freeman and Lindor, but if you look at those, the top three are the biggest ones, 100%. You can't get all of them, but like one of these three, at least one of these three would have been great. And then if you want to break it down to like Olson and like one of these guys would have been fantastic. Like two would have been, even two would have been great. Three would have been a lot, but like, hey, you know they could pay it. They just like don't operate that way anymore, or they took on other bad money that prevented them from doing this, which is definitely more concerning than like. I think that was the bigger problem. Like they took on so much bad money, they didn't want to like take other. They didn't want to add other bigger deals, even though those were better bets, like than what they ended up doing, unfortunately. So I do thank you because I'm definitely going to use this as a reference point when I look to some other stuff down the line. Because I know, like, all these guys I do think about for the most part. Lindor, I never thought about as a Yankee. That's an interesting one. Yeah, this was when Glaber was at short. So DJ was good back then. So yeah, I don't know what you would have done. I mean, okay, I guess you could have sent Torres to the Indians in theory, but you have to remember at this time, Gleyber Torres was coming off the juice ball season, and there were projections saying he was going to hit like 40 plus bombs for 5 years in a row. And obviously that didn't happen. And in hindsight, it's always 2020. But The issue was with Glaber was that they should not have switched in the shortstop. Point blank. Period. Stop. End of discussion. That's it. So let me try to go through some other stuff. I want to see and I do think MacKenzie Gore will be a nice fit for the Rangers, kinds of like, because he's gonna go in there. I'll get the projected rotation, and I'm gonna go through the comp of like what it would cost from the Yankees standpoint. I'll go through where I think Brendan Donvaon might end up in Boston. Boston's definitely gonna get one of those bats. Like something's brewing in Boston. Like they have room for one more. Like they're aggressively trying to get a bat through the trade market, and I think they will get someone. So who that'll be remains to be seen. Let's do the Rangers. Actually, kind of have a good starting rotation. They just their bullpen's really bad though. Like they lost all their bullpen pitching. Their offense leaves a lot to be desired, but they have a good starting rotation. Let's see what comes up here. So you have Valsey, Degrom, Leiter. I think they're putting. I don't know why I put Sorbs in there. He's a reliever. So let's say you use Rocker. All right. Yeah, I would go Degrom, Gore, Eovaldi, Leiter, Rocker, probably. Yeah, that sounds good to me, honestly. So I get it. It makes sense for them. I just don't really think it moves the needle that much that the Rangers are all of a sudden going to compete because they got MacKenzie Gore. Their offense is still a mess. Like they have a lot of openings and stuff. Like, are they like a third or second place team? I guess like a third in the AL West. Like it's possible, I guess. And then you look at some other spots for them. Higgy and Jansen are catching now. Jake Berger's still there with Turan, Jiang, Peterson, Seager, Josh Smith, Carter. This outfield's a little bit rough now too. Even though it was Nimmo, Carter, Langford, and I mean, okay. I mean, there is some stuff to work with here. It's just a lot of questions, a lot of bust material. Some guys have been injury prone. Like if these guys play like the back of their baseball cards, then like it's possible that like they could make the playoffs. But it's a question of health with them. So I mean, maybe it'll be better than I think. So you know what? Let me do the thing that I want to do with that Yankees projection. So yeah, I mean, mm, yeah, I mean, it's less. I heard something for Lagrange as a pair, and I didn't like that automatically. So the Red Sox are talking to trade for the infielder. Paredes is on the radar, and the Cardinals, Brendan Donovan, like I mentioned, that was from Boston is one of the main, and they also are in on Nico Horn and the Red Sox. Now, is that a way the Yankees could get him? Like it is a little complex, but maybe that's a bat somehow. So I mean, everything's possible with that, but there was also rumblings that the Yankees and Mets actually tried for Scooble, and they were quickly told no chance. So that's interesting, I suppose. Like I said before, here's the thing with Jojo Romero for the Yankees, which I've definitely talked about before, and here's the other situation. Like this is what I was talking about too. It's double. It's H Dubs H. I'm pulling up the tweet now. Who was talking about the comp trade? that I like the comparison of, honestly. So, I mean, that's a thought that can stay. Um, it's just, I think the hitting's the bigger issue in the pitching. It's just like I wanted them to try to create a bigger advantage in the pitching. But look, if everyone's fully healthy, I'll put the glass half full and say this. I think like there's so much potential with this rotation. Schlittler in a full season could be special. Um, Obviously, Rodon is going to be a question mark, but if he's healthy and pitching well, you don't question him as like a three. Max Fried, same situation, but the only issue with Fried is clearly October. Although Arias, okay, you know what? Honestly, okay, here's the thing. I think I actually have a solution to this. That, but I didn't love MacKenzie Gore's fit at Yankee Stadium near to Jared. Obviously, he's not here today, but we'll be back next week with something. Oh no, not that one. Sorry about that. Here we go. Okay, this is what I wanted. So the cash only does limit trades limits up to four. Yeah, that is true for the most part. I do agree with that. And 2, 6, 12, 16, 18, like we mentioned, Yankees prospect of those numbers. LeBron, hey, no thanks at all. Absolutely not. And then you have Hess, fine. I mean, they're clearly tried to. I would have been okay with that. Hurd, fine. Caden Kent, fine. Although I think he might be pretty good, but the Yankees will be fine in the infields, I think, in second as long as they retain Jazz. Although I think Kent's actually, yeah, Kent is a second baseman too, I believe. I never got to see. Actually, I saw him play a little bit, but not much. I think I only saw one game. He's a shortstop or whatever. So I gotta double check his numbers and see what he did. So Caden Kent played at Hudson last year, 25 games. He um, he was a short actually in third. Interesting. I mean, but okay, fine. Still, and then Arias, fine. I mean, that's just a complete meltdown in the international department. I think Arias is the big reason why Danny Rowland is no longer with us, unfortunately. The head of the scouting department that got canned from the international side and the assistant director or whatever. Lagrange for Gore would have probably made me vomit just because of how good Lagrange is. Like, you're talking about a guy who has the best stuff plus out of all the prospects in baseball America's top 100. Like that is some serious stuff. Like the best way to explain that is that obviously he's nasty. But um, other than that, I mean, he's nasty to a different degree. That might be a better way to explain it. Just because of like how electric he is. Seriously, like that's how I would put that. It's so funny how that goes sometimes. But I will share it, and we could share it so everyone could see it. But yeah, that's a decent comp to me. That's not a bad comp, and I would be okay with most of it except Bagran. Hey, because I just think he's a dog. Honestly, like I mentioned with Smith Brickner, who's a scout for baseball perspective, and then Sandy on dugout too, and stuff will be done with him, and I got to interview him. That's always been fun. And okay, here we go. I almost got it now. It's just Arias. I just can't even begin to describe like how bad he is. Like what an absolute. I feel bad for him because I know he's going through it mentally. I'm sure, but like I don't. It just like never worked out. Like the Yankees always try to get these switch hitters basically and they just think they're gonna be amazing, but it's just not the case sometimes. I mean, you can't just and then like the swing, it's like the whiffs, like it's out of control. Like honestly, that's what his biggest bugaboo is, and like Fields and Cole, like I don't know, it's just not been great. And then he's in. I mean, he's in Tampa, and he's been with the Yankees since like 2022. I think that kind of tells you all you need to know. Unfortunately, I don't have to say much else. But this will make people feel better, and this was probably one of the best finds that Danny Rowland had. Yes, here we go. Well, Granhe, and I think he's only going to continue to go up those charts. I feel like 93 is low, honestly, on their rankings. And they saw him pitch at the Futures game last year. Like I sat down with these guys and ate dinner with them, but they like him. But I guess they're probably worried about the reliever risk and the volatility of the walks, which he cleans up a lot, by the way. Secondaries got better, fastball shape got better, like Smith said. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to give it up for a guy that might be a questionable fit. Because first of all, you want the righty opposed to lefty. Second of all, Gore's home run rates and walks terrible, terrible, and the fly ball ground ratio terrible. Like the thing he does well is strike people out, but like when he doesn't get that, it's an issue. And he doesn't get consistency, like it could snowball on him quick, especially against the AL East. I mean, the NL East is tough too, but it's a different beast than the AL East. Yep, the beast that feeds the East. Okay. Now, you know where I'm gonna close down actually. I think I'll go with Brendan Donovan here. So, Red Sox are looking up likely to me. If they don't get Issac Paredes, I think he's going to go to Boston. I really do. Because like they've already done two trades already. Red Sox are fishing around. Like the only thing is they already have a lot of lefties, so I think it'll be clunky. But I don't think they really care apparently because they're gonna just keep getting lefties. Although Wilson Contreras is a high quality righty bat. But like, so I'll say Red Sox. I know the Royals checked in, but that was ages ago. The Mariners is still lurking to me because they haven't done much in a while. So, and I know the Giants are definitely looking to do something. Like we've been seeing that a lot. Giants, Mariners, Red Sox, and then or Royals. Those are my four. That's what I'll say. And then something's really telling me he goes to Boston, just because like I don't think that Isaac Paredes thing with like Abreu and Duran and well, this is actually Brian Abreu. Let's see. I got another question. Why do you think it feels like they hang on the prospects for what feels like forever instead of playing or trading them? Davey, Garcia, Andujar, Peraza, Frazier, etc. Thanks to keep up the great work. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. So, this is a very good question worth asking, and I guess I'll get back to like why I think that trade isn't a good trade. Or, but this is now an issue that's building with Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez. If you think about it, I mean, Jones is 25, and I know he used to pitch and was a two-way player, so he's like taking a little longer in the big spotty in the swing. And Judge didn't come up till he was like 25, so okay, I mean, maybe, but Dominguez was getting jerked around a lot last year. I think for Dominguez, I'll answer all of these too, but like for Dominguez, I think like the issue was they didn't expect Trent Grisham to be that good in their defense, and I get it. And they probably didn't expect Dominguez to be that bad defensively. I think it's a mix of both, unfortunately. And then they probably hoped that he would hit better against righties, obviously. and he didn't. I mean lefties, sorry, and he didn't hit better against lefties. So I think that's the problem there. I really do. And now, if you want to go back in these situations, Davy Garcia, that thing they did with J Happ, that was the end of Davy Garcia. And that was the stupidest thing ever. First of all, no one wanted to do it on the field. Like, Davy Garcia obviously had no interest in doing that. J Happ did not want to do it. He bitched about it after he did it and complained about why he was giving up the home run, basically. And he thought, in the front office, I don't even think the Boone did this. I really don't. I think this was above his head. I really do. I don't think he did this. Like, I mean, he helped decide and he said yes, but he's not the one that came up with this idea. The reason why they did it was because they were trying to catch the Rays off guard to have J Happ face to the lefties, but J Happ wasn't good, and like, who's going to be caught off guard by J.A. Happ at that stage in his career? Absolutely useless. Miguel Andujar was an unfortunate situation, but I kind of do agree that they should have gave him some leeway somewhere. The problem was that Stanton was clogging the DH spot. Gio Urshela came out of nowhere, and then Andujar got hurt. So you had a bad mix of three things there. And his outfield play experiencing was not ready yet at that time. And though now I think it's at least good enough where he might not kill you out there in certain situations. Peraza, absolute disaster how they handled Oswald Peraza. That what they should have done was traded him after he lost the competition to Volpe. Ever since he lost the competition to Volpe, it was all downhill. Like they should have just sent him out when he lost that competition. It just never worked out after that. Like there were moments that looked good in camp for him. Actually, not in that year, maybe last year he couldn't struggle in camp, but like there were moments for him, from what I saw at least. But there were moments from him that looked good in the minors after he lost that competition, kinds of. But like he never was able to get enough of an opportunity to hit the big league level. Then last year they kind of forced it because they had no one else, and he still wasn't ready. And they just like it just was never a good situation, unfortunately, for him in the Yankees. It just really wasn't. I like the kid a lot. I wish it worked out differently. I had a lot of interactions with him over the years, and it's definitely something that's tricky because Volpe also talks with a lot too, and it's tough how that went. Honestly speaking, it really is. So in 2022, I mean, he had a 778 OPS in AAA. And then in 23, he had an 836. It was only 63 games, but he looked decent. 2024, he had a 750. So, I mean, it was nothing amazing ever, but like he was hitting, obviously, most people hit better in the minors most times. But yeah, and then Clint Frazier, who, shout out to Clint, by the way, he's been doing some streams. Before I go into this, shout out to Clint. He's been cool. I've talked with him on Twitter, like just on the timeline a little bit. My buddy Keith McPherson's WFAN did a live with him, and like Clinton has a podcast too now. I think he went to 203 one game, or he might be thinking about doing it again this year. But that's not what you asked me. So with Clint Frazier, like there were so many different things to that. I feel bad for him, but at the same time, like it just didn't. The concussions kind of messed up a lot of stuff. A, B, he kind of felt unfairly criticized, I guess, sometimes. Like, but that's he didn't really like the New York media. That's obvious. But and then like he just couldn't play good defense really. And his bat, like in the beginning, you thought was gonna be electric and on the bat spin and everything, but like he just couldn't keep up with it. And like he said, there were scary situations in the stadiums, like with the lights and like being in dark rooms and stuff, and like having to work through a lot of mental stuff. So like that's like a whole nother discussion. I feel like, but the Yankees like probably misread his mantra a little bit and like didn't, maybe it wasn't the best fit for him to be in New York. Although he said he liked Cashman, but he kept getting annoyed when Cash was like, "Yeah, I'm sending you back down again." But he said Cashman was transparent with him, and he didn't have an issue with Boone either. Um, the reason with that was like Honestly, you know what? I do wonder, like, if he never got concussed, how it would have played out, I guess. And then the final part of this is like, or that, or whatever, is like, if he if Brett Gardner had not hung around for too long, because I'm gonna say something people won't like, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Because if you guys see, anyone listening, this pod is like it's a free fly zone basically. But the why I'm getting at that is because like people say that Brett Gardner didn't get the proper send off. Brett Gardner didn't get the proper send off because he hung on too long. Like he kept going at it when he was declining, and it just wasn't working. And he kept thinking he could play at the same level and he just couldn't. Like, I'm sorry, you don't get to just keep playing forever. Like, at some point, it has to stop when it's not helping the team win. And he was very selfish about that. Like, he wanted to keep going, and I get it, but like, he just really had gave them no wiggle room, and like, then they tried to patch things up, and like, no, and then he won't even go to the stadium still. And I feel terrible about what happened to his son, obviously. And Brett was a great Yankee for a while, probably better than I give him credit for, to be honest. But he just the other problem with Brett was that he never got it done in October, but he was very consistent in the regular season at least. And I will give him credit for that. Like he was definitely better than I realized at the time because when he was playing, like we weren't looking at WAR as much. Now you kind of see the value that his defense and speed added because the power numbers never popped off the page and the stolen bases were good in some situations. But like, I probably didn't give him credit for his defense because his arm wasn't good, but he got to like almost everything. So that's where his value came in a lot of situations, I would say. But yeah, I mean, this is a big problem. You wonder if what now do Dominguez and Jones fall into this category? Do some pitching prospects fall into that category? Like I don't know for sure, but it's not looking great right now. That's really what I'll say. So let me close this down with not Brendan Donovan now. And now watch this happen. There was one time I got myself so badly. I've had a pretty good off season, okay? I think with like most of my takes and guesses here, but like and some not guesses, source info, but like um so now I'm gonna say so the story goes that I literally said there's no shot the Rangers trade Nimmo for Nimmo. And they traded for him like a few hours after I said that. Like actually it might have been like within an hour. Because Met fans were getting hype and they wanted Seager. Then they got Simeon nowhere. I'm like, oh wow, was I dead wrong? But it can't happen. So why the Red Sox Issac Paredes trade won't work? Here's my thought process. Like the value charts are too far off right now, and like Brian Abreu and Isaac Paredes is more than like it's not enough for Duran. Apparently, it's closer if you want to get Willier Abreu, but the issue is like why the Red Sox don't seem to want to sell Duran low. And I don't think Paredes will be selling him low, and Paredes actually is a good fit for Boston. Duran is a good fit for Houston, but I don't know if they have the pitching pieces to make that work because the Red Sox have had to give up a lot of stuff. I mean, the Astros farm is not good at all. That's another issue with this idea, I would say. And what I'm gonna do now is like add my outro in. So like, if there's closing remarks or questions, or I'll hit. Let me hit YouTube just to like double check to make sure like there's no questions I can't see. Cause like, are the YouTube ones coming in here? I don't know if they are. If I'm just not getting anything on YouTube now. I just like think it's crazy how the Yankees had three trade targets for pitchers and they go boom, 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 gone, gone, gone. And literally, this offseason was predictable, unfortunately, because like they kind of telegraphed it because they said they Tao kept saying we had to deal the lower payroll. They obviously didn't do that, but like When he's saying that, that means he doesn't want to go up much, obviously, and he doesn't. So, hey, Jared, what's good, brother? Good to see you in the stream for a sec. I mean, it's all right tonight. We're chilling. I mean, we're getting some questions and stuff. Trying to see if YouTube is working with this. Trying to throw my outro in to get it on here and make it more consistent for these other videos that I'll work on. So I did get it. Awesome. All right. So that'll be coming in soon. Let me look at YouTube. And I apologize, everyone. Like our YouTube and like restream link is kind of acting weird. I don't know why, but it's not like pairing. I think unless I'm not getting YouTube comments today, but it didn't pair yesterday. Oh no, it did work today. Cool. Okay, that's good. Yo, right, ALGM 17, right. Yeah, so that's good news. YouTube comments are working again. So Jared, I kind of just went over the Yankees whiffing on Gore, like how they might not do much else. Like people ask me questions about arms or bats they might get. I kind of tried to go through the rundown of like what I think could happen. I brought up Reese Hoskins again. Like I can't think of like that big start, like the Robin that the people want for Judge just doesn't out there with the way this roster is. Like I kind of said, and the righty bats. Like if you get Hayes and or Bader, and then what does it mean for Dominguez and Jones even more? And you're already cluttered. Like it was, so that's kind of how things went tonight. I talked a little bit more about the Issac Paredes and Durant thing, and then like someone did tell me they think Brendan Donvaon might be on the move soon. So I said Red Sox are my favorite for him right now because the Cardinals and Red Sox have been doing all these trades. Royals are like were brought up for ground meetings. Mariners and Giants have been in there, so those are my four for him. And I'm gonna lean Red Sox, and then like the Giants are really sniffing around for something. I think we've seen them attached to a lot of stuff, so I do wonder like what will be the situation with that. And I'm gonna say something else too. Like the Yankees should not go near Zach Littell because of his home run ball potential, which is not good. I don't think that's a fit. Rasmussen, I'm on the fence about. Lazzolo or Singer would be great. If Pavetta would somehow happen, sure. Um, and then if you think about Lopez, like I mentioned yesterday, yes. Joe Ryan, absolutely, but that's a prayer, and that's way more than the trades we've seen happen so far. And then Scooble said like they said Scooble is no shot for a trade for Yankees or Mets, and the Mets didn't even offer Binge in the deal for Peralta. Apparently, Binge is definitely going to win the job. It's like it's 100% going to be Carson Binge in left field for the Mets on opening day, and that should be good. I think. I think it's a good idea. I really do. I think he's really good. Bulls will have to see how he can handle New York because that's going to be a challenge. But uh, I think people should be excited for Carson Binge. I really do. And the Mets, like I would say, they're back in the discussion for winning the NL East again. That's how much they've done. They're right back in the conversation with the NL East. And could they be the biggest threat to the Dodgers? I mean, maybe. The only thing is, like, will Devin Williams get back to form? That'd be my biggest question, probably. One of them. The rotation's much better now. And then the infield defense with Bo at third. And Polanco experimenting over at first might worry me a little bit. So that's kind of how I would go with that. But I think we're going to close out here. Let me see. Okay, awesome. The outro is here. Well, all I got to do is play it. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long. But yeah, Rangers trade for Nationals. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something we're not thinking about. I try my best to cover all bases, but I don't get everything right. There's definitely stuff I miss, obviously. So maybe, but you never know. Sometimes you can get a surprise at the spring training. Like people make the team to get hot, they stick, and then all of a sudden you're way further than you thought you would be. But I'm gonna throw up my handles. But before I do that, like I do want to thank people for helping me get close to 500. We're like seven ish away now. Gotta hit that five soon, hopefully. And then I'm looking for the closeouts besides like the outro. Where is it? Uh oh. All right. Well, I get this. It's not great. Oh, here we go. Okay. So the sub you already know. It's Julian Galardi, and YouTube is Julian Galardi Show. X and Twitter is Julian Galardi 1. Instagram, Julian Galardi 11. TikTok is my name, and Facebook is my name. Been posting like crazy on all these platforms, so everyone pay attention. Thanks.